Uh, okay. So what we're going to be doing today is we'll be discussing adverbs, right? So I am not sure if we'll be able to finish all of that in one go because I'm planning to do all the types of adverbs together with major focus on the comment and viewpoint adverb and focus adverbs. Okay, we'll also look at um, the common kinds of adverbs that we see usually. We'll do that, but the separate exercises that we do are going to be mostly on the focus adverbs and the comment and viewpoint adverbs. Okay, so I'll share the screen with you and we'll wait so that we can discuss a little bit about the adverbs and then maybe we can start solving the uh, worksheet. The screen's visible to you, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let's just quickly, talk a little bit about maybe just revise for a short while on what adverbs are, right? This is not a new concept to you. You've already looked at this in English 1 if you've already taken the course. We have discussed this extensively at that point too. This was mostly discussed in connection with another parts of speech, right, which we call as the adjective. Hmm? So no change from English 1 to English 2. They both still perform the same thing, except for the fact that we have not discussed certain special kind of adverbs in English 1. We've kept it very simple that side. But now that your English 2 focuses a bit on advanced use of the language, we've introduced some adverbs which are more functional in nature, right? So this is going to be a little different from trying to understand types of adverbs as adverbs of manners or adverbs of place, so on and so forth. We are going to a little more look at the functional aspect of it. As by functional, I mean as in how it is used in the real language, right? Not just as sentences and fill in the blanks that you see in the textbook. Can someone tell me what adverbs are? What do they do from what you remember from English 1? Just to check that you have your concepts clear before we dive into the topic of discussion. Anyone?
Ma'am, adverbs are
Yeah,
nothing but modifies
correct. Very
adjective,
good.
verb, and adverbs.
Yes, right. That's an excellent answer,
And
right? So
they
to begin
mostly
anywhere,
again
sorry?
mostly end with ly, like many of the
Mostly end with, yeah, many of the adverbs do end with ly, correct? But that is not an important distinction for us, okay? Yes, for beginners to understand it, this can be used as a technique to teach that, okay, all those ly ending words could be adverbs. But not necessarily the case. While we were discussing it in English, when I did tell you, did mention a few examples like friendly, etc., which has an ly suffix, but they're not adverbs, right? They're adjectives.
yes, ma'am.
So yes, you're right in saying that majority of the adverbs are going to have that ly endings. That's right. But we should also be careful about the trap that it lays for us, right? So ly, after all, is just a suffix. It's not something that is earmarked for using only along adverbs, right? It's not
Yes,
like ly only appears with adverbs. So
yes,
as
ma'am.
far as we understand this part, saying what you said is not wrong. Okay. Now, like you rightly mentioned, these are modifiers, right? Their function in the language is to basically modify both your adjectives and adverbs. And adverbs, they modify what? They can modify verbs, they can modify adjectives, and they can also modify another adverb, right? So for your course, I'm sure in the last course on English 1, you probably could have had only the simple ones. But this time, I think you have separate lectures on degree adverbs, comment and viewpoint adverbs, and also focus adverbs, right? Because these are the kind of adverbs. Other adverbs are also used, but these are a little more intensive in their functions than the other, and they're not very easily locatable, right? That's the difference of this. And One part of this is this again makes your language richer. So from moving from English 1 to English 2, while we're trying to advance in how we're using English, using these adverbs of focus, comment, or viewpoint is going to make your language look a little more proficient, right? You're going to come across as a more proficient user of English than a basic user, as far as the previous lessons on adverbs were concerned. Okay, so this part clear about modification, right? So modifiers for adverbs, adjectives, and and verbs, right? That's what the basic task of adverbs is. And even with viewpoint adverbs or comment adverbs or degree adverbs, this is not going to change. They also have similar functions, except they appear in certain special contexts, right? And this context is what is special to these three adverbs that I just mentioned and is also a part of your English too. Okay. What we're going to do is we'll begin with the first activity. This is a sort of warm-up activity for you, just to revise on what we have already done in English 1. And then thereafter, we move to the exercises on viewpoint and other adverbs. Okay, so let's do this one. Please let me know what will you mark as adverbs in the first sentence. Maria had an emergency at her workplace and she left soon. Pick out the adverbs for me here. And if possible, you can comment on their types. What kind of adverbs do you think they are? Basically, you're just trying to deduce the role. That's it. Maria had an emergency at her workplace and she left soon.
Emergency.
Sorry, louder, please. I'm not able to hear you.
Emergency.
Is emergency an adverb? Read the sentence again. Maria had an emergency. It's a noun, right? It's not an adverb.
Soon. Soon is an adverb.
Soon is an adverb, right? Soon is an adverb. What kind of adverb is this? Soon.
Adverb of time.
Adverb of time. Okay, adverb of time. In certain advanced literatures, on grammar, they might call it adverbs of frequency also. But as far as you can identify that it has got to do something with time, it's fine. You don't have to go into the details. So yes, first sentence, soon is what your adverb is. Anything else that you see here? No, right? Only soon. The first sentence has only soon as your adverb. The second one, please reach the place quickly and leave the bags there.
Quickly.
Quickly. Okay, quickly. And what sort of an adverb is this, quickly? Please reach the place quickly. This answers the question how. How should the person reach? The person should reach quickly, right? So adverb of manner. This is adverb of manner. Quickly will amount to adverb of manner. How about the last sentence? She finished her task fast and enthusiastically.
Fast.
Fast and enthusiastically.
Fast and enthusiastically, both, right? Fast as well as enthusiastically. Fast would be adverb of
Time.
Degree.
is it? Is it? No. Fast is also adverb of manner. Okay, that has got nothing to do with time. This also answers the question how. So fast, enthusiastically also answers the question how. How was the work done? Fast and enthusiastically. Okay, so both are adverbs of manner. And look at this, fast doesn't have an ly. Although at this point, I should also tell you this, that in the current use of English, people also use fastly instead of fast. So if you get a question on this and if you have fastly as a word mentioned instead of this, it's not wrong. Okay, there was a time when we did not use the word fastly. It was considered wrong to use it. But now that we have allowed, and this was the time when we were mostly following the British English standards. Now that it's more universalized and we have made the system to accept all kinds of English varieties, fastly is a very commonly used word now. So both fast and fastly are accepted usage in the current English. Okay. Now we'll look at these sentences. This is basically a paragraph on plate armors which were used in battles. So all these sentences are from a single paragraph. I've just split it into different sentences for our ease of working on it. Okay. So we'll look at the first sentence entirely, and then, or if it works for you line by line, that's also okay. Let's do this one. Okay. Same thing. We're going to pick out the adverbs from this one as well. So plate armor, the first sentence, right? Plate armor is today remembered as one of the most popular armors in Europe in Middle Ages, even though historical records are very clearly describing the rise of the plate armors and their extreme version suit of armor, but the most prominent during 15th and late 16th centuries. Okay, so one long sentence. You can either work on it line by line, or maybe you can look at it as a whole. Same work, same task, pick out the adverbs. First line, any plate armor is today remembered as one of the most popular armors in.
Most.
Most is it? Think about it. Is it? It is. You can consider that an adverb. And why is it an adverb?
Modifies a
Modif-
adjective.
Correct. Modifies the adjective popular. Right? So most, yes. Most is an adverb. Any other adverb? There's one more. Today, right? Today is also is used as an adverb. Okay. Then next line, even though, sorry, European Middle Ages, even though historical records are very clearly. In that line, what would be the adverbs in that line? Nobody?
Clearly.
Clearly, yes, clearly is clearly an adverb. Okay. Any other answers from that one?
Historical, ma'am.
Historical. Is historical an adverb? Historical records.
It describes the records.
It describes, but what is it describing? It is describing a noun, right? Records, historical records. Historical is describing the noun records. So it can be an adverb, it's a modifier, but what is it? It's an adjective, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about even though? Will even though come across as an adverb? Conjunction, right? In this case, it's a conjunction. If you've already learned about conjunctions, it's just basically connecting the end. So not an adverb here, but a conjunction. You only have clearly as the adverb here. Anything else? There's one thing I'm looking for, nobody's saying it. Clearly is an adverb, but what about the word that goes before it? Very. Is that an adverb as well?
Yes, ma'am.
It is. It is an adverb of degree, right? Very, almost, rather, quite. These are all examples of adverbs of degree. It adds emphasis to the existing adverb, right? What we learned about adverb is that you can use it to modify another adverb also. And this is one such case. Clearly is an adverb. Very is another adverb that modifies it. Degree adverb. Okay. Next line. Describing that rise of the plate armors and their extreme versions, suit off. Anything there?
Extreme.
Extreme version? No. Right? Extreme is an example of an adjective. It modifies the noun version. So nothing in that line as far as I see. Next one, armor were the most prominent during 15th and late 16th centuries. Again, what would be your adverb here?
Most.
Most. right? Most is the adverb because it's modifying the adjective prominent. Okay. All right. The second sentence now. Today, plate armor plays a very important part in the history of personal armors as the most distinct and easily recognizable type of the armor in the entire world. First line. You can look at the first line.
Very.
Very, yes. Anything else? Today also, right? We discussed this
Today
in the
also,
first
ma'am.
line. Yeah. Today and very would be your adverbs in that line. Okay. Then comes the second line for that sentence. Armors is the most distinct and easily recognizable type of the armor in the entire world. You can take the whole of that together. So
Most
most is definitely adverb.
and
Correct.
easily.
Most and
Easily.
easily, right? Correct. Most and easily will be your adverbs in that line. Okay. So see, when you're picking it out, you also see the placement of the words that is next to them, right? That would help you understand the parts of speech and other things generally. Just don't look at the word or, look at things like ly and all that. Look at the word next to it and then decide, what roles they're playing. A third one. As soon as someone sees plate armor in any of its forms, whether it is full plate suit for both soldier and horse or just breastplate protector named cuirass, modern people are immediately thinking about medieval times, numerous wars that happened during early Renaissance, and romanticized vision of fully armored knights in pre-gunpowder warfare. Big sentence. You can take one by one. The first one. What is as soon as? Do we use that as an adverb?
No, ma'am.
No, right? So where have you seen this usage mostly? As soon as? This is usually used as a comparative form of adjective, right? So usually the comparative form for adjectives would be to add an er in case you are using a one syllable word or add more and most to words which are disyllabic and bigger than that. So if you have to replace it, then usually the expressions you use is as good as soon as, so on and so forth, right? So this is an adjectival expression, not an adverb. But any other adverbs in that line? Sees plate armor in any of its forms. Whether it is
No, ma'am.
full. No. How about weather? WHETHER. Weather is also what? It's also conjunction, right? That also the function of weather is also to join parts of sentences. Okay. Either two sentences or parts of sentences. So no adverb in that line. Next one. Plate suit for both soldier and horse or just breastplate protector name. None?
Yes, ma'am. No adverb.
Mhm. What about just? Just as
Breastplate
an
is like,
adverb. Just as an adverb. Okay, just as an adverb. We'll learn about it, or you might have already watched the lecture on that. What sort of an adverb is it? It's a focus adverb. You use these adverbs when you have to focus on a certain segment in the sentence. When you want to emphasize or shift the focus to a certain part of the sentence, certain segment of the sentence, you use the adverbs of focus, which is why the name focus adverbs. Just is also an adverb of focus. Now, don't confuse. Just is also used as an adjective. Okay. He's a just ruler. Okay, it's a fair ruler. So that just is different from this. usages, see, look at that sentence. As soon as someone sees plate armor in any of its forms, whether it is full plate suit for both soldier and hose or just breastplate protector, right? So here it is added for focus and emphasis. Okay, next one. Modern people, curious modern people are immediately thinking about medieval times. This is a simple one, right? Which one would be the adverb here?
Immediately.
Immediately. Immediately. Are rest of you following? Because I hear only one person answering, one or two max. I hope others are following as well. Okay. Then the next one, yeah, in that line, just immediately. Then numerous wars that happened during early Renaissance.
Ma'am, can you repeat which
Yeah.
sentence you're talking about? I just left because I got a call.
Okay. We are looking at numerous, the fourth line of the third sentence.
Okay.
Numerous
Fourth.
wars that happened during early Renaissance and romanticized.
Okay,
That
thank
line.
you, ma'am.
Sure.
Numerous is also an adverb, ma'am. Or it's
Numerous is also
adjective.
no. Numerous words is an adjective. Yes, numerous is an adjective.
Yes, ma'am.
How about early? Is early an adverb?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, early is an adverb, which means it can be used as an adverb. But is it used as an adverb here?
No, ma'am.
No,
It's
ma'am.
used as an
No.
adjective.
It's mostly used as an adjective, right? Here it is not an adverb. Early definitely is an adverb, can be used as an adverb, but here it is an adjective, right? So there are few words like this, which may be used both as adjective and adverb. So in such cases, you read the, like I told you, please read what goes before it and after it, right? That would give you a clue of what it is used as. All right. Now the last line in that sentence, vision of fully armored knights and pre-gunpowder warfare.
Fully.
Fully, right? Fully armored knights. So fully is the modifier to the adjective armored, which is the modifier of the noun knights. So fully is your adverb. Okay, the fourth sentence, the oldest plate armor ever made comes from ancient Mycenaean era Greece from around 1400 BC.
Oldest.
Is it? What is
It's
oldest?
an
It is
adjective.
old. It's an adjective. Old, older, the oldest, right?
Ever.
Ever, right? Ever is your adverb. Ever is usually classified. I mean, in detail, if you want to learn it, it's normally considered as an adjective of frequency, but you can also mark it as adverb of, sorry, not adjective, adverb of frequency, but you can also call it the adverb of time here, okay? Ever made. Armor ever made comes from ancient Mycenaean. It talks about the time, so no problem. Ever. Fifth one. Because of the difficult manufacture and weight, body plate armors were mostly used in a form of cuirass that was split into front and back section.
Mostly.
Mostly, yes, correct. That's an adverb, but even before that, you have something.
Difficult.
Difficult, because of the difficult, no. Difficult here is different. What is difficult here? Difficult manufacture. Adjective, right?
Adjective.
Adjective. Even before that, do you say because there? Because is an adverb.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
an adverb of condition. Right. So whenever you have to introduce conditions or give purposes and reasons, you use these words, right? Because, if, when, these all classify as adverbs of conditions and reasons and purpose, right? If it's for condition and for reason purpose, you use because. So that by itself is an adverb, right? Do not confuse it with the conjunction because. This also functions as a conjunction, but that is when it has to join two parts. Here, but the function
Yes.
is not that, right? Yeah.
It is in the beginning, right? So
It's
it is
in the
not.
beginning and it is giving you the reason. It's not joining anything, right? Its function is not to join, right? Greece, next one, sixth. Greece introduction of this type of armor morphed into new forms of plate armors, most notably in Rome, where Lorica segmentata became popular during several centuries. So most is definitely an adverb, right? Also, what is an adverb there? Notably, right? Notably is also an adverb there, both performing the functions of showing you manner. So most and notably both, or even if you consider it as one unit, most notably, again, adverb. Anything else in that line? First line doesn't have anything, by the
Several
way. Okay, so
several popular.
several. Think again. Popular,
And
no,
Diogen.
definitely not popular. Which
Diogen.
one?
Diogen.
Which line is that?
I'm the last line of sixth one. During several centuries.
During? No, no, no. During is not an adverb. What is during? During is a preposition. Okay, it's
Okay.
connecting the part on Lorica segmentata. That's one noun to the other part. Centuries,
Okay.
several centuries. During is preposition, and several is what?
Adjective.
Adjective, right? It's a quantitative adjective or numerical
Yes.
adjective, as it is called. Okay. Seventh, however, after fall of Roman Empire, single piece chest plate armors fell from popularity for a long period of time because of difficulties with manufacture and very high cost. Right in the beginning, you have the word that is the adverb in this case.
However,
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 right?
after.
However is the adverb, right? So it begins with however is an example of what can be called as a sentence adverb. If you have followed the lecture, there's one kind of adverb that's mentioned in the lecture called the sentence adverb. And what's the speciality of these adverbs? They always appear in the beginning of the sentence, right?
And they
It takes the
appear with
whole
a
sentence.
comma in the
Correct.
end.
Correct, correct. So which means they basically take the whole of the sentence into its ambit, right? So, however, is an example of a sentence adverb, right? Then, after fall of Roman Empire, single piece chest plate armors fell from popularity. Anything else in that line after fall of Roman Empire? Single piece.
No, ma'am.
No, nothing, right? So, second line, from popularity for a long period of time because of difficulties with. So reason again, because, right? Adverb of reason. Okay. Because. And the last line, manufacture and very high cost.
Very.
Very. Right? Very, which is modifying the adjective high. So very is your adverb. Okay. Now, eighth one, almost 1000 years after fall of Roman Empire, plate armors returned in fashion after rise of metallurgy techniques enabled medieval blacksmiths to start easier manufacture of larger metal pieces. First line, almost 1000 years after fall of Roman Empire.
After.
No, ma'am.
No? Really? Look at it again.
Almost.
Almost, right? Almost is an example of an adverb. See, almost 1000 years. So it's telling you sort of frequency, right? So almost is an example of an adverb here. Nothing else in that line. Everything else is mostly adjectives and nouns. Second one, returned in fashion after rise of metallurgy techniques enabled medieval. Anything there?
In fashion.
In fashion. How will in fashion be an adverb?
Um,
What is fashion here? It's used as a noun. In is used as a preposition. Hmm? Some people last time have told me about after. Now, after sometime, in certain cases, yes, it can be used as adverb, again, like early and all. But in this case, it is not that. Here, it is mostly used as a preposition, right? So in that line, you don't have anything. You no adverbs as such in that line. Hmm? Next line. Blacksmiths to start easier manufacture of larger metal pieces. Anything?
larger.
Larger is no.
It is describing metal. Metal is
So
another.
metal is what? Metal is what? Metal is a noun, right? So then what is larger?
Okay.
Actually,
It's
metal pieces. Adjective, right? And also see it has the ER suffix, that's the universal marker for comparative adjective. Larger metal pieces. Okay, 9th one. Reintroduction of larger plated armor started with chest pieces and slowly expanded to the protection of other body parts.
Slowly.
Slowly, yes. Anything else?
No, ma'am, I don't think.
No, right? Nothing. Nothing. Slowly is the only one in that. Now the last one in this one, special type of plate armor set was created specifically for jousting. Plate armors remained in use until 18th century, mostly in specific cavalry military units. First line, special type of plate armor set was created specifically for jousting. Jousting, I think. Yeah. Anything? What's the answer for this one? 10th one, the first line. Is it that difficult or
No,
specifically,
ma'am,
right? Specifically,
okay.
right?
So
Specifically
how,
is the
ma'am? How specifically?
created specifically for jousting. How was it created? It was specifically created for jousting,
Okay.
right?
So that jousting it is a noun.
Jousting, yes, it's a noun.
Okay.
Correct. Then plate armors remained in use until 18th century, mostly in specific cavalry military units. Which is the obvious
Mostly.
one. Mostly. All right. So these 10 sentences that we discussed on the plate armors, these were mostly to show you examples of the commonly used types of adverbs, okay? Which includes manner, place, time, reason, condition, degree, etc. Right? So this has served the purpose of looking at it. It was just meant for a warm up, right? What rather I want to talk to you in detail is basically the comment, adverb, and viewpoint, and also the focus. Okay. If we don't get time to cover the focus today, we'll take it for the next class. But let's talk about comment and viewpoint adverbs. Now, see what happens in if you are someone who's following other textbooks, or maybe if you're someone who's gone online to check these things, you would have seen that a lot of sites and textbook would mention that there's basically no much of a difference between the adverbs of comment and viewpoint, and that a lot of them, many among them, can be even used irreplaceably, right? Like they can be used in place of each other. There's no watertight compartmental difference between both of them. They can be used maybe in places where you use a comment adverb. You can also use a viewpoint adverb, or to put it in other words, there is no serious differences seen between what is termed as a comment adverb or what is called a viewpoint adverb. However, the actual difference generates in its placement in a sentence, right? So on its own, maybe these words don't look very different to us, right? They may not give you the distinction of being a comment adverb or a viewpoint adverb when looked at them in isolation. When you just look at those words, maybe on its own, alone, they don't give you much meaning. But when used in a sentence, depending on where you're placing these words in the sentence, is where you actually get the difference of what a viewpoint and a comment adverb is. Now listen to what we understand. Now, based on such placement, I'm going to tell you, that is the placement of these adverbs in the sentence, I'm going to tell you what does a comment adverb or a viewpoint adverb mean, right? So in a sentence, when you use a word like technically, right? Now, technically, some people would say there is no difference. This can both be a comment adverb and a viewpoint adverb. Now, the difference here is for such overlapping adverbs, the placement in a sentence is what it decides whether it's considered a viewpoint or a comment adverb. If technically is placed in the beginning of the sentence, like in the case of a sentence adverb, right? We looked at this sentence number 7, right, on your screen. Begins with however, and I told you this is a sentence adverb. So viewpoint adverbs mostly function like these sentence adverbs, which means that they're always placed, mostly placed in the beginning of a sentence. Either it is placed in the beginning of a sentence, or you will find it immediately after the subject of the sentence, right? So if this is the placement of your sentence, for let's take an example. Happily, Naina gave away her necklace. Okay, if this is the sentence, happily Naina gave away her necklace. This is an example of what we call as a viewpoint adverb, right? You place it in the beginning of the sentence, you make it this is called as a viewpoint adverb. If I change the position again, if I say Naina happily gave away her necklace, again this is a case of viewpoint adverb. So these two positions are very important as far as your viewpoint adverbs are concerned. Should be either in the beginning of the sentence, or it should appear right after your subject. Okay. Now, what about comment adverbs? One thing with comment adverbs is they have very fluid placement. You can keep them anywhere in the sentence and you can figure out that these are comments and not viewpoints. Examples would be adverbs like seriously, obviously, clearly, okay, thankfully, or luckily, fortunately, unfortunately, disappointingly, right? Or interestingly. These are all examples of, I mean, when I say these words, I think it is self-explanatory that they're more like comments, right? They're not like viewpoint. What's the difference between a comment and a viewpoint? Viewpoint is more informed, right? Like words like biologically, mathematically, philosophically. You can also use phrases like philosophically speaking, right? Or if I say biologically speaking, insects are categorized into organisms with different numbers of feet, right? So this is based on what I'm saying. See, this is a biological point of view. I'm not talking out of, this is not my comment, but this is a specific viewpoint. Viewpoint has to be more informed. Do you understand what I'm saying? Followed? Any
Yes, ma'am.
doubts? Okay.
Like
Anybody else? Any
viewpoint is
question?
like giving a specific view on
It
on a
has to be
topic.
specific and it has to come from some sort of an information. You know, it has to be more informed. That is what we
Yes,
say.
ma'am.
it should not be loose comment. It should not look like something that is your opinion, right? That's the right word for comment. Comments are generally what your individual opinions. It may not be learnt or an informed thing. So this is how you can differentiate between comment and viewpoint ones, right? And comments, they speak for themselves. All those words that I mentioned, luckily, fortunately, unfortunately, clearly, obviously, thankfully, disappointingly. Okay, all of these, they look like comments. It's like, you trying to give your opinion. That has got nothing to do with the information as such. Maybe something that looks lucky to you is not lucky to others. So it's a very personal sort of an opinion you're making, hence their comments. So in terms of its use in function and its form means grammar, right? When you talk about placement in the sentence, comment adverbs can appear anywhere. They don't usually have a fixed position. You can either put them before the verb like you usually do with the adverbs, or you can place it in the beginning or even at the end. It's okay, right? But in case of your viewpoint adverbs, they usually appear at the beginning of the sentence, or second case would be placed when it is placed after the subject, right? So that is one example. That is like the primary difference that you can draw between these two. Having said all that, I would also mention that there are definitely a set of adverbs which can be used as both comment adverbs and viewpoint adverbs. Right? So there is an overlap. It's not like all of them are strictly categorized into these two. It's not possible. So certainly for some adverbs, you will see that there are overlaps. Okay. And one such example is the one that I gave you, happily, right? Happily, it can both be a viewpoint. Say, for example, if this comes from someone who's informed, like say a psychologist, right? So you can say that, okay, this is a viewpoint that the doctor holds. But it can also function as a comment. It can also be my personal opinion that this person is happy, right? So there are certain gray words in this area which may fall into both of the categories, but most of them you can make a difference from the way it is used, whether it is a viewpoint adverb or a comment adverb. Okay, is the concept clear to you? What do we understand, or what do we mean by comment and viewpoint? Any
Yes,
questions
ma'am.
about that? Okay. All right. I'm not looking at the chat as of now. Maybe I'll just quickly look at it since a little difficult to. Okay, there are answers here. Okay, nothing except that. Okay, I hope that you've understood what I wanted to say. So we'll go to the exercise. Maybe we'll finish off one part of it before we can wind up for today. I don't want to take the class beyond 7 because I think there could be other classes as well. So let's see. What I'll do is I'll copy these words into your chat so that, oops, just give me a minute. What happened?
I'm just compulsory.
Yes, yes. Okay. So I'm pasting it there in your chat. You can find these words there because as we scroll down, no, you won't be able to see this box. So just for the sake of that, it's there. You can pick out the words from the chat, right? So we're going to use these. Right now, we are not going to be bothered about whether it is comment or viewpoint or anything. We're simply going to pick these, use the appropriate words to fill, these blanks here. So first one, dash the sun rises in the east. Be careful about choosing them. Sometimes multiple options would look right, but choose the most appropriate one. Okay.
Rightly.
Obviously.
Yeah, you can say obviously. Rightly, rightly here means as opposite to wrongly, right? Right and wrong. So rightly the sun rises in the east will make a little less of a sense. But yes, obviously goes. Okay. Obviously goes. Anything else that you think would fit there? So in these cases, no, sometimes more than one answer becomes possible. Obviously is correct. Anything
Naturally.
else? Naturally, the sun rises in the east. Naturally. Yeah, maybe. But I think a better choice of answer would be obviously, right? Naturally, I don't know if that would be marked wrong. It doesn't sounds wrong depending on the meaning that naturally has, but I think a more appropriate use would be obvious. Okay. Second one, the sun dash rises in the east.
Clearly, maybe.
Which one? Sorry.
Clearly.
Clearly. Sun clearly rises in the east. Now, these are more factual phenomena. So we can stay either with obviously, that is fine. You can still use the same adjective here. You can even say the sun obviously rises in the east, or here you can say the sun naturally rises in the east.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Naturally, so it's more.
You can use that here, in my opinion. Clearly, no, clearly has to involve something that, we do, but these things are more natural in nature. I mean, this is more factual. So we can use things that are more closely related to factual. Words like obviously, naturally. Okay. Third one, you dash go through the book. You dash go through the book.
Wisely.
Uh,
Simply.
Simply.
You simply go through the book. So simply go through the book. Okay. Wisely, going through book doesn't require too much wisdom. Okay. So simply go through the book. Then next one, fourth one, I had dash conveyed the secret message.
Confidentially.
Confidentially, correct. So there's a Q in your sentence itself. I have confidentially conveyed the secret message, right? Secret itself says that you will have to use the word confidentially. Okay, next one. Can you see it properly, or have I? A minute. Okay. Dash, I'll be there for the party.
Luckily.
Fortunately.
Fortunately. Mhm. You can say obviously. Obviously, I'll be there for the party.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'll be there for the party. Okay. Next is dash, he was again behaving weird. Multiple answers possible here, I think.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. First obvious choice would be unfortunately, he was again behaving weird. That should be the best one I think we have here as a choice. Unfortunately. The next one, dash, the man looked troubled.
Clearly.
Clearly, yes, clearly the man looked troubled. Correct. Clearly the man looked troubled. Then comes, he was dash walking on the road.
Wrongly.
Confidently.
We don't have confidently here. The option we had was confidentially. It's used up. We didn't have confidently here. Which was the other one? Sorry, somebody answered before that.
Wrongly.
No,
Calmly. Generously.
no, not
Bravely.
generously. Generally, it is more
Ma'am,
bravely.
simply.
Bravely.
Bravely, he was walking on the. Where is that? He was dash walking on the road. He was bravely walking on the road. I mean, all of this may be right if we had more context to it, but okay, let's say we can use these. Okay, because it's not wrong. Only if we can add more context to it, probably we could choose the best one among this. So, okay, I think bravely or rightly or wrongly, I think we can use that. One more thing here is that if you can use one set of, these adverbs that are opposites of each other, that is the ones which can be used as antonyms, no? Right? Like rightly, wrongly. Okay, fortunately, unfortunately. One thing about this is if they can be used in one sentence, then the opposite of that can be also used in the same sentence, right? Because meaning wise, they're giving you opposite meanings, but the usage doesn't change much, right? So if it is possible to use it in a given context, then the opposite of it is also true for it, okay? All right. So this one also, even stupidly, cleverly, they're also antonyms to each other. So if one fits, then the other also can be fit if you can, as an accordingly, if there's a change in the meaning, then both can be used. What was the one? The next one is dash, he got up and started moving lazily. So for this eighth one, you say either rightly, wrongly, stupidly, bravely, cleverly. Okay. I think many would go in the lack of the context given here. I think many will fit that question. Ninth one, dash, he got up and started moving lazily.
Fortunately,
Unbelievably.
Unbelievably, unfortunately, he got up and started moving lazily. I think unbelievably, maybe you can use that. From the options that we have here, I think unbelievably will go well. Others look a little odd with that. Okay. Next comes he dash dozed off while driving. This is easy.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Okay. Unfortunately, or can you say other
Stupidly.
things? Which one?
Stupidly.
Stupidly. He stupidly dozed off while driving. He unfortunately dozed off while driving. Okay. Or he even wrongly dozed off. That's also fine. Okay. Then comes dash, he got himself out of the situation.
fortunately here.
Stupid.
Yes, fortunately is right.
Why
Sorry,
is
anything?
it?
Wisely he got himself out. Yeah, okay. Wisely fine. Fortunately fine. Stupidly he got himself out of the situation. No. To get you out of a situation is a positive thing, right? So you
Yes.
can
Cleverly.
say clever. Correct. You can say cleverly. Cleverly he got himself out of the
Luckily
situation. Okay?
also, I believe.
Luckily also. Yes, luckily he got himself out of the situation. That also works. Then dash she started singing.
Bravely,
Bravely, yes, bravely she started singing. Now this is context oriented, right? So if you can use bravely, maybe you can also say stupidly or unbelievably. Okay.
and we can
Many
also
things.
use generously here.
No, not generously. Generously is a very different sort of a network, right? What is the meaning of generous? It's close to the meaning of the word kind. Okay. Or to provide something in abundance or provide something unconditionally is what being generous means. That has got nothing to do here. The meaning won't fit. Okay. Next is she, okay, the same thing. She started singing.
Simply.
She started singing simply. You could say simply she started singing. No, even that doesn't make any sense. She started singing simply. No.
Ma'am, we can use bravely in both of the sentences.
Bravely, yes, but may not be, very meaningful sentence to say. Like, I don't really understand what is brave about singing. So that word, like
Confidently, she started singing.
Naturally.
confidently, we don't have it in this. You can use it, not wrong, but in the sentences we don't have it. Singing naturally,
Wisely, we can say.
wisely. None of these look quite fitting here. Okay, I think the best one in my suggestion is the word unbelievably, right? Because these are artful expressions and adverbs like unbelievably will sit well. You know, she danced unbelievably or she sang unbelievably and all that. Rest of the things, although they look grammatically right, they meaning wise, they look and sound very odd. I don't know. It's at least odd to me. I don't know if you can feel it or not. But the expression unbelievable looks okay, right? Someone getting really mesmerized about somebody's artful qualities, it fits in this context. So unbelievably is fine, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? Rest of the things look a little odd to me, sound a bit odd to me. Because there's no natural association between, being brave and then singing, or being stupid and singing, or anything of that sort. Yeah?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is 14th one. Dash, the event didn't go as well as expected.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Best fit is that. 15th one, dash, he stayed there despite the warning. This also can take unfortunately. He stayed there despite
Stupidly.
the warning. Sorry?
Stupidly.
Stupidly. Stupidly also. We can use another word that's in the bracket. It's, I think, did we not have disappointingly? Okay. Okay. Then we can use unfortunately, stupidly, wrongly also. Okay. Wrongly, he stayed there despite the warning. That's also fine. Then comes, I will dash help you.
Generously.
Yes, I'll generously help you. Okay. I'll generously help you. He reacted, 17th one. He reacted dash by agreeing to their demands.
Naturally.
Simply.
Stupidly, wisely,
Yes,
rightly.
yes, correct. He reacted wisely, stupidly, wrongly, rightly, right? All of this would fit in that. He reacted wrongly by agreeing, rightly by agreeing, stupidly by agreeing, or what is that? Cleverly by agreeing to their demands. All of this would sit there. Okay. 18th one. Mohit dash estimated the expenses.
Wrongly.
Wrongly. Okay.
Wrongly.
Rightly. Yes. Rightly, wrongly.
Clearly
Anything else?
also could be.
Clearly also, yes. Clearly, yes. Okay. 19th one. Some species of turtle are dash endangered.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. What is it? The other one?
Naturally, maybe.
Naturally endangered. No, not so much.
Unbelievably.
Unbelievably is also fine. Okay, you can use unfortunately, you can also use unbelievably. Then the last one, 20th one. Dash, I advise you to visit your parents.
Confidentially.
No, nothing confidential there.
Simply.
Simply, ma'am.
Simply, yes, simply. Simply, I advise you to visit your way. You have heard, no, this is my simple advice for you. So that has been written in a different way. Simply, I advise you to visit your parents. Okay? All right. Fine. I think it's almost time. So this one, we just picked I think you got an idea of what the comment viewpoint adverbs are. Now for the next exercise, we are going to choose whether, the same thing, same activity, but they are spread over comment and viewpoint adverbs. This will continue in the next class, and also this second part on the focus adverbs, right? This is also very important. So we finish this off in the next class, and you will see all the materials that we use in the class. Mostly they are these Word worksheets, MS Word worksheets. This would be uploaded like we did in the last course to your supplementary tab sections. You can access it from there. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you in the next class again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much,
you.
everyone. See you again. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.